Well, Martin, whoever wins this race will become the first, it will be their first ever World Championship gold in the lightweight single scull. So all to play for, all on the table for all 6 scullers across this field. And I think the opening strokes, well, the kudos for me goes to the sculler from Turkey, the young and feisty Kuroglu.
Yeah, I think Kuroglu's certainly got what it takes to win this event. He's very brave. The Turkish scullers went out in Poznan at the under-23s, and he's gone out bravely now. It's going to be a bigger challenge, obviously, for him, with the likes of Schoeberl to his right, and then Kluver Ferreira, who's got fantastic flexibility. See that Kluver Ferreira is just back in the field. He's quite deliberate and quite, I think his tactics, do you think his tactics are kind of to be a bit more conservative in the first quarter? But, you know, there's a length of clear water between him and Kuroglu at the moment. Yeah,
he settled really early. He's down at 34 strokes a minute, you know, not even within 15 strokes of opening out. He takes a quick glance here. He needs to make sure the race doesn't get away from him.
Right, so what I don't understand, how come Kluver Ferreira goes over at 34 and Cetraro Beriolo goes over at 40. I mean, you know, they're both Uruguayan rowers. What are they doing? It's really interesting that how one rate suits one person one way and the other guy a different way.
Yeah, totally. And I think that we've seen here Kluver Ferreira a bit more of a sprinter at the back end, and we'll probably see him, you know, sort of notching up through the field in the final 750. But to bring you top 3, it's going to be still Turkey, then Austria, and followed by the German Fabio Kress. Here is Julian Schoeberl, and as you say, he's switched from open weight sweep back to lightweight sculling. I've been following him on Instagram, counting down his weeks of training. This is, I think, week 38 or so here at the championships, and it's been a historic championship for the Austrians.
Yeah, I like what he's doing at the front. He kind of got that slight pause. He kind of goes up with his body weight before he drives back. I think he's really good on the front ends. And Fabio Kress there, head down, gritting his teeth almost. His race, I think he knows, will come towards the end of this. Just got to be in the pace at the moment. Kuroglu still flying, but be impressed by the Austrian. Still say Kuroglu's got what it takes to win this race, the student at Marcó University.
Yeah, he's really burst onto the scene already, an under-23 world champion at the ripe old age of 19. He's still got many age group championships ahead of him to impress. But I just love how quickly he places the blades out there. He gets really locked on at the front end quickly, doesn't he?
It's really close at the front end. I wish I could scull like that. And it's fantastic technique, which is why he's out there. It's his technique that's carrying him forward. I guess he's not such a power-based athlete. I would reckon that Schoeberl, who's going toe-to-toe with him, is one of those athletes. Jake McCarthy too, the 28-year-old. But Kuroglu is going to be leading the field through the 1,000 metres. His 500 time was just a second off the world's best time. He'll be a little further out there at 1,000 metres. 3:24 through the thousands, and 4 seconds off world's best. But in these conditions, that's lightning quick. Okay, the Austrian has gone through. We have liftoff from Austria.
Yeah, here goes Julian Schoeberl. The last time that Austria picked up a medal in this lightweight men's single event was back in 1985 with Raymond Harbel, and looking to replicate and go better here to take home the gold. We've already seen the open Austrian single scull Lindorfer make the semi-finals for the first time in a number of years. This time 40 years separating Austria's medals here in this lightweight singles event. Look at this though, Martin. Here comes Kluver Ferreira for Uruguay, like we expected, like we anticipated. He's right up now in the mix, and I think that Schoeberl really cannot count and rest on his laurels here.
Yeah, Jake McCarthy, we've got 750 metres to go. There's the Irish sculler. No, that's, yeah, I'm going to say that's the Irish sculler there. Over in lane 1, you can just see the one on his boat. And the twin brother of Finton looking to get 2 medals home to their family's medal cabinet, but the Uruguayan is moving beautifully. I like it the way he just has that space at the back turn, blades perfectly clear, really relaxed, really still body, and he lets his hands go away, feels the boat, and then comes up to the front. It's perfect timing. For me, he's winning the technique wars at the moment.
Yeah, he doesn't need all that space off the finish, as he, there's no ripples, there's no bumps here, but he gets a lot of clearance off his finish to set himself up really well. What a great platform coming into the final 500 for this drag race against Austria.
Yeah, Schoeberl, who says on his Instagram, I push boats fast. He's got an MSc, that lad, so he's really well qualified. But there is the Uruguayan sculler, stroke by stroke, centimetre by centimetre, moving back on the race leader. And there is a look across from Jake McCarthy. Not like Pandan Dan we saw, the medalist in the women's single sculls. He's looked again, how close am I to gold? That's what he wants to know.
Yeah, every 3 strokes here, the Irishman takes a look over his right-hand shoulder. There he goes again, 4 or 5 looks in the last few strokes, and he's latching himself on. Oh, look at this, Austria responding. Can Schoeberl hold off Kluver Ferreira for the first time this season?
The answer to that is no, because the Uruguayan hasn't put the hammer down yet. He's very calculating, the Uruguayan. I really like what he's doing. He's never looked out, and Schoeberl put the hammer down early. I felt he had to do that, but he's left himself vulnerable to Jake McCarthy now, who might be in there for the silver medal.
He's gone out to race for gold and might lose silver in the process, because Jake McCarthy can smell blood. We're into the red boys now, and I think you're right, Martin. No question here as to the absolute flying Uruguayan. Kluver Ferreira is storming home here for what would be Uruguay's first gold medal at this championships. Felipe Kluver Ferreira, for the first time, would become world champion in the lightweight men's single sculls. But here comes this race for silver, Martin.
Yeah, Kluver Ferreira, what a well-judged race. He wasn't there in the first 500, but he even lets the pace off as his bows cross the line. World Championship win for Uruguay. Schoeberl hangs on from the charge from the Irishman to take silver. McCarthy takes the bronze medal. Fabio Kreis absolutely exhausted. He looked exhausted all the way down that course. It is China in 5th place, Julian Schoeberl. And then finally bringing up the rear, it is the Turkish, the fast starter. Karoglu was brave. He laid his stall out, but just couldn't find that endurance. But 19 years of age, he'll be back. And Kluver Ferreira has got his arms in the air. Celebrations. What a well-judged race that was.
Yeah, and he was so almost boastful just to sit down there at kind of 33, 34 strokes a minute when everyone else was chasing it up at 36, 37. He had that patience, he had that belief and ability, and you can...
Impactful to do that.
Well, lots of Uruguayan fans out here in the stands, and Felipe will give them what they want, a little wave, a little cheer to the crowd, and a bit of cooling off as he splashes the water.
When was the last time you heard the Uruguayan national anthem, Camilla?
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what it sounds like, but we'll hear it in a few moments' time, because...